Hi, I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video we are going to be answering the question, what is the key to unlocking your success? Now, for this particular one, I made sure to keep it incredibly open so it could be success with money, career, a project, love, friendships, whatever. We're kind of really keeping it nice and wide open because your version of success or whatever you're striving for is going to be totally different from somebody else. We want to include everybody. In addition to that, I made sure that the intention of whatever you need to focus on could be anything from maybe there's a particular characteristic you need to give more attention. Maybe there's a skill you need to work on, something you need to unblock, a mindset. Whatever it is, we want to keep it as open as possible because, well, that would be silly to think it's just one thing. You know what I mean? It's just one thing, one way, that's the way it goes. Nope, it's a lot more open than that, and that way we can get you to success. But I wanted to say this before I got into this video, that I can just tell you right now, this video is going to be, I don't know if I want to say wild, very powerful. Okay, so when you do this type of stuff and you meditate a lot and you're really into spirituality, you're gonna experience some things. So I purchased recently a new tarot deck and I just felt really drawn to it, not because of its, just because it's beautiful style of artwork, but it was an unexplainable thing. It was just like, I knew I had to have it. I have that experience with particular crystals, particular decks, and as soon as I got it, I was not wrong. There is just something incredibly vibrant and magical, and like, it was just an incredible shift of energy I took on when I received it in a positive way. So that was already really strong and powerful. But then my spirit guides were really adamant about there being 5 groups. They were like, it has to be 5 groups. And they were really adamant about talking about the idea of when you get really focused into something that you almost feel like you're trancing. I use the term trance in a very loose term to describe a multiple different kind of effects. The way I'm expressing it right now is when you're watching somebody. Have you ever like listened to a good song, or you're really vibing, or whatever somebody's saying to you resonates with you so much, you kind of start to zone into their words, and you're listening to the beat, you feel like it becomes you. It's a very deep, present sort of moment. It's incredibly deep and it will run through your body. It's everything. They really wanted me to talk about that to the point that I started to trance. And what I mean by that is, again, when we talk about that powerful sort of deep connection and feeling when you're experiencing something, when you meditate a lot and you're very into spirituality, you're gonna have these unexplainable time periods where you're just hearing something or doing something, and you'll just start to kind of totally involuntarily start meditating is the only way I can express it. And I was talking to my spirit guides today, and I just totally tranced out, and it's like a feeling of vibration in your face. It feels like it pulls you almost like out of your body kind of thing. It's not a full out of your body experience, but it's a very wild feeling. And when you experience it, you'll definitely have time slips. So it could feel like 10 minutes, but it was 4. In my case, I could tell I was about to go into a situation that was gonna feel really long, but it was only like a couple of seconds. And I started to notice it, and I pulled myself out of it because I was like, I have to do this. I can't just be meditating right now for hours. I've got something to do. So anyways, when you have that kind of start to the pick a card, you know it's gonna be a good time. So I just wanted to share that cool stuff with you because I know you guys love that as much as I love talking about it. So anyways, as you can tell, we have 5 groups in front of us. You pick whatever group you resonate with most. I'm gonna give you a moment to do so. And now that you have, you can go down to the description where you can skip ahead to your designated group with a marked timestamp below. Well, let's get started with group number 1. Let's find out what is the key to unlocking your success by looking at the cards. Your tarot cards are 8 of Wands in reverse. the Hierophant. Sorry, I got confused with the High Priest. Upright, the Hierophant upright. The Emperor upright. Five of Swords in reverse. And Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, okay, cool. That makes sense with these two kind of like stoic looking people we got over here and mindset. Okay, so we've got some great practical advice, and who doesn't love that? This is like Marie Kondo, where like someone's like, go organize your house and you'll feel better. And you're like, oh, cool, thanks. I can actually wrap my mind around that with a combination of a bit of a mindset you're going to need to focus on key. It's at key moments. It's like the main thing that stops you. It's like your main obstacle. So let's get started with that over here with the Eight of Wands in reverse. This specifically talks about, especially with this interaction going on over here and this interaction going on over here, it looks like, see, the thing is, this one is more focusing on what you need to do, so I can't get too specific with this as much as I'd like to. It's this vibe where it's like, you'll get excited, you're going to work on a project, you're going to do this thing, and as you're going to move forward with it, you start to tell everyone about it, you start over planning it and kind of planning the future for yourself. It's this feeling of too much too soon, and then there's some sort of feeling of discouragement. You then kind of make excuses and focus on other things. You kind of got too ahead of yourself, essentially. And so one little bit of advice coming in is like, whoa, slow down, stop that. When you find yourself not solely just working on the skill or the thing that you want, then stop talking about it the rest of the time, because there's a lack of balance in being able to just let it do its thing and then not you get too ahead of yourself. So it's better if you just, when you find yourself wanting to tell people about it, stop, just stop. Just stop, go, yep, I'm working on that thing, and then focus on other, things that you like to talk about and do other things. Just enjoy working on the activity or trying to pursue the goal. Let it happen. And then as you focus on other things and allow that balance of constantly being present in your life, that will prevent you from accidentally talking yourself out of moving forward with the act. It's like the dreamer and the doer. You want to be that. You want to be the latter. You know what I mean? So then that leads us to over here with the social interaction with the Hierophant. So your main thing that's going to like make you bloom, it's going to make and this is a wide gamut. This could be, maybe people admire this about you. Maybe it's just like by purely being someone who's very skilled in what they're good at, it's like, yeah, of course you're going to get a job anywhere. People can see by your credentials, you're good at it. But you're specifically being told to, whatever your dream is, whatever your thing is, and we're specifically talking right now about a career-oriented thing, just to be clear, that's the main thing I'm picking up. You need to go work on that skill actively. Don't talk about it. Don't just be like, oh yeah, whatever, I'm taking classes. No, actively go out of your way to learn everything about it. And here's the key thing. You need to do it in a traditional way. So before you get into the actual skill, look up, like, is there a set of books you need to read in a particular order? Is there a method where maybe you learn this stuff first, and as much as you're excited to learn about this other stuff, wait until you build up there, because your brain's going to start, it needs to learn in this way to properly connect the information. It's going to make you feel calmer and more organized. And it's funny, I'm not getting anything that specifically says you're super free spirit or anything like that, but you're going to benefit more than you know from kind of like a little bit of an old school, like, hey, let's take our time, let's read books, let's have a goal, let's pursue working on this skill and then go get this job later, if that makes sense for you. So if you feel like yourself getting too excited and you want to look into some other subjects, stop. Slow and steady wins the race is, well, this isn't about a speed thing. It's just like, take it one step at a time is the best way I want to put it. That kind of continues over here with the Emperor, because the Emperor is somebody who is, like I said before, a very stoic type of personality. They tend to keep their emotions to themselves. So we talked about like this, keeping that information to yourself. And they only share what they feel is vital, not because they're closed off or they're mean, but because they're ruling such a large group of people, they need to be aware of when it's important for people to know, because if they know too soon, they might panic. So that, I'm sorry, spirits tell me about sometimes people might discourage you, or want to kind of make you explain yourself, and that puts you in a position where, how do I put this, like, you then overthink it, you discourage yourself, this is like going to keep you in line on your journey, and it's something tangible your brain can comprehend and not ever feel discouraged. This is the motivation, and the keeping it away from other people prevents them from talking you out of it. But also, same thing with the Emperor. This is always pops up when this is actually, weirdly enough, a super popular relationship one I get often. And this often talks about the foundation of a relationship, but we're specifically talking about the career. So for you to be successful in this career pursuit you have in anything, if you've got a really solid foundation, or in this case, a foundation of skills, you're going to kill it. You kind of can just do whatever you want, essentially. Don't even worry about the future. Don't worry about, well, what if there's competition? No, don't worry. Your foundation, if you've got this on lockdown, and this is the way you approach this and learn this, then you're fine. This is like all you need to know. It's kind of a wonderful way. I know that seems very vague, but it's actually a very hopeful message saying, like, you can't mess it up. Just go learn things, and then just go reach out for whatever position you want, because you're going to get it. As long as you got this on lockdown, it's all people are going to really care about when they see you. They might want something different from someone else, but they want this from you, if that makes sense. Now, this talks about the mindset again. This is kind of interesting because this is going to pop up. Like, I know I said you're going to want to slow down if you find yourself, like, it feels very much like a beginning stage of the career. You're into this hobby, you're into this career, and you find yourself telling your friends about it, and you're like, oh, I gotta slow down. I'm not supposed to tell anyone about it. I'm supposed to just chill out and work on the skill and mention it every now and then. This pops up for if this kind of mentality sneaks up on you later down the line, and just because you're learning a skill doesn't mean people don't have bumps along the way. Nobody's life is perfect consistently. You know what I mean? So the Seven of Pentacles in reverse talks about if you find you're working on something later in your career. This is like continued success, basically. And you're not really pumped with what you're getting. You're not, maybe you work in social media, and your boss wants you to get a lot of followers, and you're not successfully getting that. This is kind of saying, do not try to keep trying to make it work. It's not going to work. When you start to notice things not lining up, there's a certain level of pride, because it looks like, and I'm not saying you're an overly prideful person, not at all. It's just very easy when you are this skilled, everyone believes in you. It's very easy to think, oh, I'm used to working hard. I'll just keep working hard until I make it work. No. These are warning signs that you need to try another method. This is a part of that method, which is in the Five of Swords. It's basically having a certain acceptance. You're kind of looking at it, just owning it and going, that didn't work. It's not working. I accept that. I'm not going to make it a big deal. But that level of you accepting it, that letting it go and moving on, and then trying a different method or trying the opposite, whatever, just that acknowledgement is going to save you so much time, because instead of trying to make something that's never going to work, or slowly become discouraged and doubt yourself and think, oh, do I need to study more? No. It doesn't mean your lack of smart or lack of skills in the future. Just when you occasionally come to this problem, like anybody, keep in mind everyone deals with this, that's your way of moving forward without like, your foundation's solid. You don't need to go back and be insecure about your foundation. Just try a different way of approaching the situation. But you need to do this in order to let this go fully, so when you go to try out a new perspective on what you're doing, you're not just like really focused in and being like, yeah, but what if? You know what I mean? You want to, again, this is all about like being present in the moment. You know what I mean? So I hope that was helpful. I love doing that. I love stuff that you can actually tangibly work on. Very, very, very cool. And definitely focus on the mindset. This is the type of stuff people take for granted. And then, you have moments in life where you're like, how did I get here? How did I not see that sooner? These are your moments to say, oh, wait, whoops, catching myself. Not going to do that. Not going to fall into that trap. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please consider giving this video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 2. Skidoo. Rule number 2, let's find out what is the key to unlocking your success by looking at the cards. Your tarot cards are 5 of Cups in reverse, 6 of Cups upright. Is that not so cute, little mugs? The Lovers upright. Okay. Okay, all right. The Devil in reverse. We're going there. Okay. That's fine. Yep, King of Cups in reverse. Okay. I already know what this is about, but let me look at some stuff in order. Okay, 566. Yeah. All right. What I'm about to talk about, you already know. This is going to definitely sound redundant to you. You are already totally aware of it, especially when I see 566 popping up. Okay, so spirit guides are really funny and wonderful because they're going to deliver information to you in the way they feel you need to hear it. So sometimes they can be so straightforward, it can feel a little mean, but it's what you kind of need to hear in the way you need to hear it. And in other times, it's what they're not saying. It's like a loving way of saying, like, read between the lines. I'm trying to give it to you gently. You know what I mean? And we're talking about the gentle part of it, because when I say 566, this specifically talks about the idea that there needs to be a change in your life. Needs to be. And here's the thing, when 566 pops up, it's saying you know about that change. You are acutely aware you need to make that change. And you need to go from that situation or thing to specifically a positive one. Of course, we're always trying to be positive and move towards positive things. But it's like, let's say you didn't like your job, right? And you're like, well, I'm hoping my next job's going to be good. No. You need to make sure that next job you go to, you for sure, it seems like a fun, loving place. Like you got great vibes. It's your dream job. It needs to be a very active pursuit. And in addition to that, 566 talks about the idea of you needing to focus on positivity in general as a kind of a key to unlocking your success. Often the simplest things, the most abstract things can be the most useful and helpful. So if you feel lost, if you feel confused, if you start to feel discouraged, you need to just amp it up to 11 of things that you're happy about, things that you're so excited you're going to will into your life and you're going to manifest, things you want. Just blind to positivity. It does not matter the circumstance around you. That is going to attract and do a lot of things. We'll just keep it simplified. It's important for you. So definitely keep that in mind when you need it the most. It's going to guide you in ways, especially when you're unsure. So let's talk about the main thing that you already are acutely aware of. I'm usually very gentle about this, but we can be real with each other. You know what I mean? Like, this is a situation where and you're not being scolded. Let's just be adults and talk about this, essentially. So this is a specific romantic partner that you need to not have in your life anymore. For some of you, it can be a friendship situation, but I'll be honest, it's a predominantly romantic partner thing. Again, this is a general reading, so I'm just putting that out there. Now, the thing that's so interesting here is this person who, by not having them in your life, it's not just about, remember how this reading is very big. It's not about if they're not in your life, you'll have success in a romantic situation. We're talking about everything. This person is a huge blocker for you for success in your career, success with other friends. I'm being told about family, just inner happiness, career, whatever it is. It's a lot. They are a huge roadblock for you. So let's start off with the 6 of Cups upright. It specifically talks about this being somebody from your past. This would be a lot of relationships where you kind of find you go back to them, or maybe you're thinking about going back to them, like you're holding on to the idea of them. There's just someone that you feel they've fulfilled happiness for you at one point in your life, and you can't seem to let them go. That's fine, that's understandable. But here's the thing, Five of Cups in reverse is the most straightforward way of saying, okay, you're gonna need to accept that and move on now. It's a pretty, like I said, Tarot's being extremely straightforward at the moment. As you can see over here, we have represented the Lovers card. And in a weird way, I'm just going to point this out right now because Spirit's pointing this out right now. You know that phrase when people use the joke where they'll be like, oh, sipping the tea, like it's like you know something that the other person who's in the situation doesn't know, and you're like, oh, they should know better. I'm seeing the situation outside of it. This is essentially your spirit guides. They're like, I see what you're doing. I see what you want to happen, but I know. No. Do you know what I know about them? You know what I mean? It's that, oh, sorry, I'm just being told about that. Sorry, focusing on, they want me to, sorry, I'm just getting a lot of information. They're talking about, when they said, you don't know what I know about them, they're focusing on this. So the Devil card specifically, you're being urged to break free from this unhealthy situation. It is a chain situation, a ball and chain situation, where it's not just how they affect you influentially, it's more of like the way they affect you keeps you in one place. So it's not your mood being altered, it's that they're distracting you, pulling you near them with their, oh, look over here, it's really nice. Now it's, even if it's bad, you're like, well, I just want to focus on healing the situation. I'm angry at them. Whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, it's not that it's the mood that they put you in that keeps you from success. It's the distraction. It's like a abstract cage they're putting you in, and they're like saying, break free. And I can especially tell it's not the greatest situation relationship-wise when I have the King of Cups in reverse. This talks about how they are, to put it succinctly, they are emotionally unbalanced. This is a very large, wide gamut. We're also talking about a general reading. So this is somebody who can be, oh, I need you all the time. That's not fair. They try to make you feel guilty because they're getting obsessive of you and they don't want you to do other things because they want you to do what they want to do. Maybe they just kind of take their emotions out on you. This can get kind of dark for some people. I'm not particularly feeling that for you, which is good. But it's them, it's not you. It's okay that you feel like you are happy and you're dreaming and thinking about them. That there's nothing wrong with that, but you're basically being told like it's not going to allow you, it's preventing a lot essentially. If it makes you feel any better, I don't see, despite these intense cards, I don't see like misery and gloom around them. You know what I mean? It's not fun to experience, it's a pain. It will definitely suck you in and make you really happy one moment, overwhelmed the next, and kind of guessing a bunch of stuff, but you're gonna be okay. It's more that if you finally pull yourself out of the distraction and you look around at your friends and stuff like that, and you're like, man, I could have gone and done more in my life, and so on and so forth. Yes, you can. You're meant to. You've got a lot of good stuff in your way when this is the only thing popping up. Literally, this is all they want you to know. This one person, get them out of the way. You're fine. Keep doing what you're doing. The way you do it, the way you interact, the way you work on things, the way you approach hanging out with anyone else, you're fine. This is your person. Stop letting them distract you from your wonderful, happy destiny. I hope that was okay to hear it in that way. I didn't mean to rhyme, but like I said, you already know. So anyways, I hope this reading was helpful. I am wishing you nothing but success, sincerely. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Either way. Again, like I said, I'm wishing you the best. Have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's find out what is the key to unlocking your success by looking at the cards. Your tarot cards are the Lovers in reverse, the High Priestess upright, the Empress upright, the Emperor upright, and your last card is, ooh, Three of Wands in reverse. All right, you just got a compliment sandwich. This is amazing. Actually, compliment sandwiches are usually like insult positive, insult positive. This is just pure positive. This is a good thing. Let me just look at this to make sure. Okay, so this is really cool. In your particular case, we talked about how this can be talking about any form of success, whether that be in relationships, about your career. This is more of an abstract, bigger concept. So yes, we are talking about the positive influences in your career, relationships, friendships, whatever. But we're talking about this is for general, overall inner happiness and feeling like as you look at your life as a whole, because this is for everything, you're going to look around and go, oh, I'm really happy with the effort I put in to other people, into my job, whatever. So we're talking about the whole scope in a positive way. So speaking of positivity, when I talk about the compliment sandwich specifically here, this just has nothing but great things to say about you. Essentially, it's saying you're really smart and you've got a good head on your shoulders. You have great intuition. You know when things aren't going well and you can't be tricked, and that's a good thing. And you're not afraid to stand up for what you believe in, not purely for the morale and the justice and the bravery of it, but more you're going to be smart even if everybody else is being silly and doesn't understand your intentions, your direction. Keep going with that. That's good. You naturally have that. That's something not everyone has, and you have it, so use it to your advantage. You're being over here. This is kind of like saying you are naturally, I don't want to say good at things. It's more of a inexplainable good vibes and energy and abundance flow around you. People feel it, they pick up on it, they want to give you more. It's just like your core inner being. It's just like the baseline when you remove not great people in your life. That's just like who you are. So again, we're talking about natural traits that it's like, oh wow, thumbs up. You're going to most definitely float through life in a really great positive way in the long term. Don't let people betray you on that, but we're going to get into that in a second. And then same thing over here with the Emperor. So we've got insight, we have kind of like your core inner being, but then you have that drive to actually make it all happen and put these things into effect. So let's talk about this chronologically though. So the Lover's card in reverse is representative of yes, bad relationships, and I am definitely talking about people who cheat. But when things are just not going well and people in any way, shape, or form are making you doubt yourself, starting to make you think, am I being jealous? Am I overthinking this? Anything where it doesn't feel like an absolute smooth relationship, we're talking about that. And we're also talking about when it's like a broken promise. So this is when you're working with people and they said, if you did this for them, they would later help you and stand up for you in a meeting later, and then they don't. That kind of thing. Like people aren't living up to their word and stuff like that. We're just talking about scummy people in a pretty wide gamut. So over here, the High Priestess is the reassuring vibe of like, you're really good at knowing when you're not easily tricked. Like, you know what's happening. Don't let people trick you. Because when you feel that feeling of like, ugh, something's off here, or, if you start to slightly flip it on you, stop it. That is one of your keys to unlocking your success. You're solid. It's them. Get them out of your life. You do not need it. You're a wonderful, perfect, whole being just as is right now, this second. Your natural core characteristics are fantastic and are prone to natural success. This is like the yucky poison that comes in your life. And so when you notice things like that in friendships, in partners, in coworkers, go with your gut. Cut them the heck out. They do not need to be in your life. They're only slowing you down, making you doubt yourself, and you don't need that trust me, go with your gut is what I'm trying to say. Get them out of your life because they're slowing you down is the best way to see it. Now over here, This is saying a couple things when we have this row of succession, the way people are facing. For some of you right now specifically, this is kind of like, this is like a general sense of success, but for some of you, you need to hear this right now. Some of you have a boss and they are a male. And whether you know it or not, I think most of you are aware of this, there is a female controlling them, making them do things that prevent you from moving forward, whatever. They're kind of like the person influencing. I'm not necessarily getting vibes that they're like a bad person and they're using them to hurt you. I don't get that vibe. It's more of if you want to get things done, ignore them, go around them, and go to this person over here. But in addition to that, this is kind of saying two other additional things. When you want to get things done, always go above or around the person or obstacle in your way. It's not out of sneakiness. It's like for whatever reason. So this is really interesting. The more I talk to people, the more I notice there's patterns in their life. Not everybody. I have one friend in particular who, like, every time she tells me stories, it always just seems like this really super common pattern where, like, something horrible will happen and then something, like, absolutely amazing will happen. And it's this weird, like, metaphor for her life. But that's what we are. We are sometimes living metaphors of our lives. You know what I mean? And it's less of like a pattern. It's more of like we're living a poem, so to speak. And so in this particular case, I'm totally losing track of what I was saying. I just got so sucked in. I'm trancing out. I'm like focusing on that story. Sorry about that. To avoid the main person and problem and go around them is your metaphor. It's not about the metaphor could be, it's not about how you approach things. It's like going with, like if this is the rock, you want to be like the river and go around them, go with the flow. It might be about creativity and your problem solving, so like your creativity to problem solving. You know, like I'd have to do a whole nother spread to be able to get into like the metaphor, but this is a metaphor basically going on in a really happy, positive way. And then the other thing going on here for this is your form of success is a form of what I will describe as shadow king or shadow queen, depending on who's watching this, ruling. You are meant to take on quite a lot of power in the long term of your life, but you are not meant to be the outright boss. You are the person that's influencing the person in charge. Again, this could be, I'm not being specifically told why, this could be because it then prevents you from taking the brunt of when things don't go right. It could be because maybe if you can use other, and I'm not talking about manipulation, so ignore the word use the way I'm not using use in that kind of way, but maybe instead of, if you want to get multiple things done, maybe you need multiple different people representing what you want, like, to get it done. Does that make sense? Maybe sometimes you need someone to seem very powerful and dominant, and then someone else you need to appear more relatable, and they can be the different masks you wear. Again, it sounds super manipulative. We're not talking about it in that way. But your form of success is that form of ruling, because with the Empress card, it talks about how your natural gifts are like, you're the fuel to the fire. So you're not the fire, you're the fuel, which is, many would argue, more important because the fire can't even get started without the fuel, if that makes sense. So when you approach projects, I know I'm being very abstract about this, but I'm trying the best I can explain it. Think of like a position at work. What is the thing, what is the fuel, the metaphor of the fuel that makes that job exist? And what is that position? Because you need to be that person. So like if it's a paper company or something like that, obviously they need the person who is making the paper. You're the person who's making the paper. You know what I mean? I'm just giving you like an abstract metaphor here, because that is your natural flow that works to your gifts, that it makes you feel loved and needed. It will give you a secure position. And again, it's just like the natural way you think and flow and put out your energy. So it only makes sense that you're placed there to match that, if that makes sense. In addition to that, the Empress talks about how you will find a lot of success if if you almost hoard happiness around you. So this is like filling your living space with lots of happy things, making sure your friend groups, like, again, we talked about if there's one person in your group and everyone's like, no, they're really nice. If this person's a jerk, I try to not use names because you accidentally don't want to use someone's name. And then that person's like, wait a minute, I'm that person. So this imaginary person, if everyone's making excuses for them, too bad. Get them out of the group. You want to be constantly surrounded by people that are supportive of you, things that make you happy and make you feel motivated. You want to kind of live in a garden of happiness. This is going to constantly feed off of you, and you're going to feed off of it, and you're going to kind of create your lush garden that's going to leak over into success in other parts of your life. So right now, if you're working on attracting love around you, you want to fill your space with happy posters that feel like romantic couples and happy people that are in love, not moody faces where they seem distant and out of the way. Because you know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. And that means like, that's the mindset. Now, I'm being very literal, but you get what I'm saying. Sometimes you need metaphorical, what is it? You know what I'm saying. I can't get the word out. Over here with the Emperor, you need to take on a little bit of this, and this just depends, because when we have the Three of Wands in reverse, this is when things are not either fully being understood, like people aren't fully understanding what you're trying to express, or sometimes it straight up talks about when there's technical issues, like an email didn't go through for whatever reason. So when there's some form of light obstacle, there's some form of like, oh, I guess they're not in today, that kind of thing. These are really small moments that are actually incredibly defining to your life and career. And the Emperor is taking on that Aries energy, and it's just basically like, no, I'm going to make it happen. If there's a will, there's a way. There's a bit of stubbornness, there's a bit of creativity amongst this, but there's just general willpower, and it's positive willpower. It's not necessarily about aggression. It's just being like, well, I'll show up tomorrow. I'll keep popping up until I do see them. You know what I mean? Because again, sometimes this is out of just coincidence. You came in at the wrong day, you called at the wrong time, and sometimes people are trying to give you the brush off. But these are really small moments in a relationship, in a career, that you having this more dominant kind of energy is just gonna, oh my gosh, take you leaps and bounds. It seems like, it seems really important. It seems like it's going to be something that pops up a lot where you just miss an opportunity. It doesn't mean you have to miss that opportunity, because we talked about how it can be solved. But it's definitely pay attention to those little moments in life where something seems a little inconvenient. It's maybe the wrong time. Call them again. Leave another voice message. Show up again, because that really small little blockage is, once it's removed or you fix it, you know, you push through it, it's going to be the thing that leads you. Often it's like a marker for a really positive thing going into your life. It's like if you're like wondering, oh, what's my dream job? If it's a little difficult to get that dream job, and we're talking about a little bit like we talked about, that's the thing, that's like the ding, 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 this is the thing you need to go do, and you need to push a little harder and show that incentive. And yeah. So I'm just making sure I got everything down. Anyways, if you enjoyed this reading as much as I enjoyed giving it, please consider giving the video a like, comment, and subscribe, because it helps out like you would not believe. Either way, I am wishing you the best. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And let's get ready for group number 4. Let's find out what is the key to unlocking your success by looking at the cards. Your tarot cards are the Hermit in reverse, the Queen of Swords upright, the Magician upright, King of Wands in reverse, and your last card is the Moon. Wow, look at that. Moon, the Magician, the Hermit. Wow. You are secretly magical and you have no idea, and you definitely put yourself down, and I definitely see confidence issues going on here. But here's the thing, my lovely. You have a wonderful hybrid thing going on here. We are going to get to the question, but this is more important right now to talk about before we get into the actual question. So the magician is like somebody who has everything they need. Everything's great. No more, no less. They're totally in the flow of, they know how to express themselves. They have all the right resources. It's a little bit of tangible and intangible, spiritual and the things around them. Anyways, they're just like the perfect person, and they're able to manifest. People like them. There's just a general magical quality about them as well. But while this might be more natural, or like you got a bunch of things working out, it's a lot of like effort and experience, the Hermit is, I think, a super underrated magical card. It isn't normally seen that way, but everyone reads cards differently. For me, Hermit usually pops up when somebody has to put in a lot of effort to connect to it. It doesn't mean they're less magical. They just feel that they need to read a lot of books about it. They need to meditate on it. It's a lot of like overthinking in order to earn it. But here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with this. It just means it's a different path, so they have a different perspective on that. But you also have that natural part of you. And with the Moon card, oh my goodness, this is when we get into straight up like very magical vibes. But anyways, nonetheless, let's get focused on the question. I just wanted to point that out. And that is an important part to what we're talking about, because we have what I love. I mean, I'm biased because I'm one, but we have a bit of an introvert extrovert thing going on here, which I love. Like I said, I'm one as well. And it looks like you do have a tendency to kind of close up, think that you don't need to express something or keep it to yourself. It doesn't mean you can't be a little more vivacious and feel comfortable with people. You definitely are both. And here's the great thing. This is where the magician comes in. Remember I told you the magician is a bunch of different things that are all coming together in the right proportion at the right time in order to create this wonderful concoction, potion, whatever, in order to be this person. You know, right place, right time kind of thing. It's like when you're suddenly you have the perfect job and it's the right schedule and you enjoy your friends. You know what I mean? It's that nice little flow in life. Everything's going well. Anyways, in order to be this person, and this is the person you need to be successful, and let's be real, whenever somebody is taking on the magician persona, they're always going to be amazing at everything, because it's like one of the ultimate manifestation cards. And it also includes somebody who's very skillful. So it's got, like I said, it's a huge range of things. You need that introvert part of yourself, and you need to also foster that extrovert. It's not about abandoning one or giving one more attention. It's about understanding how important both of them are, not being ashamed of them, and understanding how they can work together. So that's really important to acknowledge. So over here, let's talk about the introvert side of yourself. The Hermit shows somebody who will retreat and needs to think things over. I definitely want to say the biggest theme, it pops up over here in the Moon card too, is it's like you're somebody who needs to go behind the scenes or pull away and think about things and then come out with that information. Bring what was behind the curtain to the forefront of everyone's knowledge. So that's definitely like the vibe going forward. If you need to take a second to think about it at work, think about it, and then come forward and let everyone know what you have learned. If something's going on in a relationship, take a second to reevaluate, think about yourself, the situation, then come out and go talk to your friend or partner or whatever. So the Hermit, though, is coming out of his cave. So you want to take some time, think about things. Definitely, it's okay to take a moment to evaluate a situation. That's your strength and the best way you can contemplate and figure out things and gain a deeper perspective compared to if you're like put on the spot. So if someone tries to do that to you, too bad. They're going to need to wait a second so you can think about it. But the thing is, it's continuing that kind of strong, urging, loving motion, saying that you sometimes tend to feel like you need to hold back or censor yourself. But with the Queen of Swords, this is somebody who is going to be straight up. They're going to be honest. I love her because she is somebody who feels that she does not need to keep the truth from people, because the most respectful thing she can do is be upfront, even if it can be a little harsh. She's not harsh, but sometimes the truth isn't always fun to hear. So this is about you taking a second to think about things and then bring it up to them. But the honesty is key for you. You need to cut through the fat, get straight to the point, and be able to speak with people in such a frank way that it makes you feel connected. So it's like that, it's that connection that you need that makes you feel strong and makes you feel powerful, but it draws people to you. You have that something special that other people don't have, because you're going to be honest and be like, listen, this isn't working. You know, pretend we're in a work environment. Hey, listen, this isn't working. I don't X, Y, and Z. You're not good at this, but you could be good at this. Let's talk about this. And there's going to build, things are going to flow better. You're going to build a closer relationship with people because you're able to speak in that way. You're going to jump leaps and bounds in productivity, success, but also connection. So honesty is extremely important, because if you're going to take this time to be so brilliant and be so really smart and self-analytical and able to see things in a more elaborate way and kind of scientific, objective way, you might as well then share it with the class, so to speak. Then over here is the extrovert side. This is saying a bunch of things. I want to point this out. So the extrovert side of you is going to be very social. Again, we're talking about a work environment, having fun with friends, go to a concert, having a good time, saying hi to everyone at work, maybe you remember their birthday, whatever the thing. You're like in the flow of the good times, but it's a very celebratory vibe. Your kind of like geniusness comes from being somebody who is able to be very silly and fun when they feel like it. Again, you're going to have times when you want to be more quiet and distant, and times when you're going to kind of just have a good time. You know, it's your emotional state and the way you want to interact with people is a day-to-day thing, and enjoy that. Go with that flow. But this is somebody who's behind the scenes actually really thinking things through. They seem like they're being silly. They seem like they're not thinking about what needs to happen next, but they are. They just understand that in order to make the plan work out best, sometimes having fun is actually the most successful way of doing it. Because when we're feeling lighthearted and feeling fun, we mess up less. When we feel more motivated, we have more energy. It's like this thing that you wouldn't anticipate is your best tool in your arsenal, is the best way I can express it. So definitely that is a very unique perspective on the extroverted side of yourself in order to get things done, especially in the work environment. But we're also talking about like in a relationship. Let's say you're having problems. Maybe be aware that things need to, maybe you guys need to talk about it, but instead of just sitting down and being like, we need to talk about it, go sit down and be like, you want to watch a movie? Let's have fun. And then just start, if you feel like you're not expressing yourself enough, kind of open up the floor to just start talking about things. And it's like you're having fun, but all of a sudden you're starting to share things. It's like, think of it like when somebody has like a slumber party or something, and it becomes an unexpected bonding session kind of idea, that mentality. But over here with the Moon card, again, this is really interesting because this talks about the idea of bringing information that's hidden behind the scenes and bringing to the forefront. Again, you're somebody who's going to find a lot of success peeling back the layers of what's being presented to them up front. So definitely always look, whatever someone shows you, ask what's behind that. What made that? Where did that come from? Well, why is that happening? Because there is a lot of answers there that are going to give you advantages. People are going to want to turn to you for that type of perspective you have. Again, that's because of your nature, we talked about in the Hermit in reverse. That's beautiful, wonderful. And you're going to guide people because you see things from a perspective others don't. Again, we're talking about so many things in life. Friends, relationships, career. Trust me, you're the person that sees that their partner's lashing out at them, and you look behind the scenes and you go, why is that happening? Why did that if someone yelled at you and you're yelling at me, well, why did them yelling at you upset you? Did it bring up something from the past? Do you see what I'm saying? But the Moon card also represents a struggle when people are when they feel, maybe they get sad often, or they're feeling upset and anxious. And this, as you can see, she's distracted. She allows those emotions to carry her off. It sucks her in. Understandable when we are in this mental state. It's super common and normal to feel consumed by it. Now, a little bit of your solution to pull yourself out of that, because your extrovert side of yours is going to pull you out of, it's like this, you could say this is like the negative side of when you become too consumed and too self-analytical. Doesn't mean self-analytical and isolating yourself is a negative thing. Not at all. We just talked about all the positives. It's just if you're not in the right state, now is the time for your extroverted side to come out and kind of help you in that situation. Like we talked about these these concepts coming together and working together. This is another bridge concept we have over here. Because now this is not the solution to everything. When we're not feeling good, we do need to talk about things and 100 other things to solve these situations. But sometimes, honestly, you just need a night out to have fun. To be distracted, be silly, put that on the back burner. And sometimes that is the solution to pulling you out of it, to preventing you. When we're in this state, it can totally pull us off our path. This brings you back on. This makes you, sometimes it's just the solution. Sometimes you don't need comfort. You just need some time away from those thoughts to feel like you're able to digest them better, or you don't even feel upset about them anymore. You know what I mean? Not the ultimate solution to everything, but a pretty important thing that can help you a lot of the time. So it's just something, if you're like, I'm not feeling great, I don't want to go out. Too bad. Force yourself to go out. It might just be the very thing you need that can save you a lot of time and kind of being, you know, when we feel like we need to pull away from others. So that's totally understandable. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Introvert, extrovert, magician. Yeah, I said everything. Okay, I feel like there was something else. Like it's gonna bug me. I'm gonna finish this video and be like, whoops, I forgot. If I remember, I will put it down in the comments. But nonetheless, really awesome. Like I said, you have like a natural, magical way about you, but it's about the key part of you being an introvert and being an extrovert, the way you can see behind the scenes, the way you can pull things to the forefront that is going to make people rely on you. It's going to make things flow better for you. And it's just a key of a natural balance. But do not forget, there's something very magical about you. And I think that you are prone to putting yourself down. So I just want to be here as a loving reminder of don't put yourself down. You're great. Seriously, you've got a lot of natural gifts and a lot of hard effort you put in to foster those gifts. So be proud of yourself. Seriously. It's all in your head. You're really as fantastic as the cards talk about. So I just want you to know that. Anyways, oh my God. On that note, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Either way, have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And now let's get ready for group number 5. Let's find out what is the key to unlocking your success by looking at the cards. Your tarot cards are 7 of Pentacles upright, 5 of Swords upright. Ooh, the Hanged Man upright. I love that. Oh, this is kind of an abstract one. 4 of Swords, yeah. All right, this is super repetitive and I love it. Yeah. Okay, Wheel of Fortune in reverse, totally. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. Interesting. So this is kind of a, how do I say this? This is like an abstract philosophy, and your philosophy and the way you approach things using this philosophy is the key to the success. Yes, it's the effort put in, but it's this mentality that will get you through it, and it will also shape the method and way you approach it. Wow, I said that so fluidly. Who am I? You know me, I'm always tripping over my words. So anyways, let's talk about 7 of Pentacles upright. This card and the Hangman and the 4 of Swords predominantly talk about the idea of slow and steady is going to win the race with you. Man, you're going to find me kind of repeating because they all just sort of run into one another, especially these cards. So this is somebody who understands that if they take their time and they build upon something over a period of time, it will have the most fruitful rewards. So it's okay. It's not a scary thing of like, what do you mean I'm gonna have to work my whole life before I get a good promotion? No, 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 not at all. It's in times in your life, if you notice things aren't happening as quick as you'd like them to be, it doesn't mean what you're doing is wrong. Because sometimes when we're improving, we don't always see the results in that moment. You might feel like you're going about your job, it's the same every day, and little do you know, from a distance, someone's observing you. This often pops up, by the way, when I notice that person who I'm doing the tarot reading for is being observed by someone, and they are admiring their dedication. They're seeing the larger picture of their garden that they're working on is growing. They're like, that's the person I want to have this job. So it's the comfort of knowing that if things ever feel like boring or same after same, or same after same, day after day it feels the same, that's actually a good thing because you're building upon something, and that's your strength and your method of how to make things come into existence to its fullest. Other people will admire it. It's like that is your prime natural way of making things work. And this is the comfort of saying like, don't worry, keep doing that. This works for you and it's gonna bring you just as much success as the next person, but this works for you in a special way, while other people, they truly might be just doing the same thing every day and they're not moving anywhere. They're not progressing. They really do need to shake it up. So this also, especially when we have, wait, where do I want to go first? I'll try to go in order. You see where I'm getting lost amongst the cards. Then we have over here, we have the Five of Swords. Now this is saying two different things. This is warning you against people who want to make you feel self-conscious about the way you're approaching things. It's more chill. It's relaxed. You're really understanding the thing you're working on as you're taking your time. You're kind of seeing things add up. It might be slow to the outside perspective, but it's building something a lot more stable, a lot more concentrated, and something that will grow 100% guaranteed compared to the next person. People are going to be jealous of this subconsciously, especially when we got the Hangman over here. Oh my goodness, Neptune coming in strong. And this is a warning to say, another key to your success is that this is a blockage. Someone wanting to get into your head, make you feel self-conscious, just want to get to you. You kind of just like this person, turn your back to them and go, that's nice. You deal with your insecurities over here and you can just watch me succeed over here. In addition to that, it does talk about the idea of winning at all costs in a great way. Not a vindictive way where other people are brought down. It's the hopeful message of saying that keep pushing through. You're going to have moments in your life where it seems like, again, this is the type of card that doesn't give you constant reassurance, and then out of nowhere, you get everything you've ever wanted. So you have to have kind of like faith and hope along the way until you get there. Does that make sense? In addition to that, sorry, I thought something was touching me. Anyways, in addition to that, we have the Hangman. Both of these cards are very relaxed, very chill. That is your flow. That is what works for you. That is what's doing more and adding up over time, as you've heard me repeat a couple times. The thing with the Hangman, though, is it might look like they're in trouble or other people don't understand them, but this person is hanging by their foot, not their head. They're just taking a second. They're thinking about it. They have options. They're not truly in danger. This is a contemplative card. This is a card that implies I'm just going to take my time to evaluate what I need to do because I'm doing a lot. Because once I get out of this, situation, watch out. I've got a lot of ideas. I've got a direction. I'm moving forward. This is momentum building in both of these cards. They seem chill, but they're doing a lot, like I'll keep saying. But the Hangman also talks about, oh my God. Oh my gosh, I'm fine. There's no one, everything's cool. I am gonna definitely sage my place after this. Anyways, sorry, focusing on with this. The Hangman talks about how, I'm sorry, that totally distracted me. Anyways, everything's fine. So the Hangman talks about, I'm so sorry, give me a second. Unconscious. Thank you. Whoever's probably shouting at the screen. It talks about your subconscious and your unconscious and pulling apart those walls and bringing the two together. Do you see what I'm saying? So this talks about you working on yourself on a subconscious level and getting those core ideas kind of really set, because it is what is going to kind of comfort you during troubled times. Like we talked about that lack of comfort along the way, but it's kind of like your inner momentum. It's like, if you know in your core you're going to be successful, like no matter what, it's deep in your heart, then nothing else really matters. It will all just kind of work out around you. You just need to know that in your core. Don't ask how, just know it will be. Does that make sense? Over here, Four of Swords, another card where it's just relaxing. They're taking a second. They're thinking about things. You know what I mean? Just like I said, very repetitive card. But over here, we have Wheel of Fortune, ruled by Jupiter. Now, this is really fun and interesting because this is a card that talks about protection and hope. And this says that you're going to feel a sense of safety and optimism through, what does Jupiter do? It enlarges, it gets bigger. It's that kind of concept. But it also talks about like actual fruit being bared. Like this gardener will eventually harvest their pentacles they're growing, the fruit they're working on. When you actually see growth, this is a mindset, perspective like we were talking about. When you see things building up and adding up over time, and you have that security to know that it's a garden, it will keep growing, you will see it, there's that thing growing and becoming something more. That is what makes you feel safe and feels protected. That gives you hope. And the main thing you need is like, I know this sounds really repetitive and I apologize if it does. Slow and steady wins the race with you, but this is all the mental game you need to play in order to keep yourself motivated, because you're not going to constantly be told you're doing a good job. You're not going to be constantly see the numbers blowing up. You're not going to constantly be getting promotions. This has to happen along the way, essentially, in order to keep you motivated from this basic principle. So I hope this is helpful. I hope I didn't just scare you. Everything's fine. I think don't worry about it. Everything's cool. Everything's positive and good vibes here. Anyways, if you enjoyed this, please consider giving the video a like, comment, and subscribe, because it helps out like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I will see you in the next one. And yeah, bye!